Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. Well, if you follow my channel at all, you know that I talk an awful lot about vintage silver, probably too much about vintage silver. It is my all-time favorite silver to collect and stack. Recently, I was able to acquire this album here. This is a Whitman album for Silver Rounds. I was looking for the Dansko, just could not find it, so I settled on this Whitman Classic album to house part of my completed collections as well as collections that I'm working on. Now, that said, the last page is the only page that is not vintage silver rounds. It is a modern silver round. So can you guess what modern silver round series I may have stashed in the back of this book? So let's check out some silver, shall we? We'll start with page 1. So we flip this album over. You can see here on page 1, I have my all-time favorite collection here, which is the Engelhard Prospector round collection. All 6 dates are represented, but yet we have 7 rounds, and I'll get into that as I talk about these awesome vintage rounds. So the very first year of issue for the Engelhard Prospector is this 1982 with a big E reverse. For this album, I tried to go with all BU examples, Blast White. So these are some of my better examples that I have. Second year of issue is the key date of the series. This is your 1983. This is the hardest of the rounds to find. Another very nice example, Big E reverse. And there it is, the Big E reverse. This is a 1984, and the reason why I have 7 rounds and not 6. 84 started with a Big E reverse, and then at some point in 1984, they switched over to the Eagle reverse. So there's 2 1984s to collect if you want a complete collection of vintage Engelhard. Next year would be 85, also with the Eagle reverse, 86, and then rounding out the entire series, last date would be 1987. Next to my Engelhard Prospectors, I have a pair of 1981 U.S. Strategic Stockpile rounds from the San Francisco Mint. There are 2 different reverses to collect. So as we turn the page to page 2 and check out the opposite, the reverse, if you will, of these rounds. These are your 1981s. You can see the Eagle to the left is different than the Eagle to the right. Should say that pretty much all the rounds in here are full 1 troy ounces of 3/9 pure silver. So here on page 2, we have another completed collection. I talk about these quite a bit. This is the A-Mark dated round collection. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on them. I have different videos about these, but first date, first year of issue is also 1982, 83, 84, 1985, 86, 87, 1988. I would say that is the key date. That is definitely the hardest round in this series to find. Thanks to Mad Stacker, I was able to acquire some of these 1988 rounds. And then last year of issue, 1989. So really awesome collection. It's complete. I am saving this spot for a non-dated A-Mark round. I do not have one in the stack, and I plan to pick one up shortly. And so as a placeholder, I have this Articles of Confederation round. I did a whole video on that one. It's one of my earlier videos. I spent a lot of time explaining the symbolism behind that round. If you're interested, you can go back and see that video. The obverse of the A-Marks are all the same. There's nothing really to show there. And as we go to this page here, this has some of the collections that I'm working on. And so to start off, we actually start off with an Imposter. This is not a vintage round. This is a 2006 Norfed round, which I've also talked about recently. But it fits the theme I was going for, which is Liberty, for the top row anyway. So we have Lady Liberty right there. And then next to that, we have a 1986 Statue of Liberty round, and then a different 1986 Statue of Liberty round. You may notice some of these are rotated in the album. This Whitman album does not hold these vintage rounds very nicely. It's kind of why I was looking for the Dansko, so some of them do rotate. So my apologies if that's messing with anybody's OCD. So here are some Liberty Lobby rounds. This is going to take a long time to collect all of these, so I'm kind of picking away at the collection here. So this is a collection in progress. We have a 1980, an 85, a 1974 Washington, as they did a series on presidents. Then we have another president, Thomas Jefferson. It's another Liberty Lobby. And then I put in a Liberty head round and a Mark Dime round right in there. So kind of placeholders. So still working on that. I'm sure as time goes on, the collection in this album will evolve. I'm sure collections will come and go as I pick up different albums. So now, are you ready for the last page? The last page is not vintage silver. So what modern silver round did I decide to put in the last page here that I'm collecting? And there we have it. So it was a trick question. These are actually metals, but they fit beautifully in here, and I could not help it. So these are all Comsco mint, and this is the Chiwu Chawang round, which is one of my favorite modern rounds to collect, or metals, if you will. I am missing the first one. The 2016 is extraordinarily expensive these days. I do have second year of issue, 2017, 2018, and this one's also a privy round too, if you can notice that. And then 2019, missing 20, and I have 21. So I don't think they have 22 out yet. So I have some room to go, and while I have some extra spaces, there is another round series that I'm able to collect. I was able to do a trade with none other than Stacking Perpetrator. Yeah, he sent me some vintage silver, and I'm going to send him a couple different silver pieces. So let's see what the next series is that I'll be collecting. All right, let's check out the first round. And it is a Johnson Matthey's series. Beautiful silver round. And you can see this is, I have it upside down. The Right to Privacy. So this is a whole series that Johnson Matthey did. I believe there's 12 rounds in the series. So that is fantastic. Now I have some other rounds that I could collect. The second round he sent right here is the other. There's two of these, so the other round. This one actually is in the original packaging, which is fantastic, but I'm actually going to break it loose and put it in the album. So this is Freedom from Slavery. So really interesting series from Johnson Matthey, and just super excited to be able to start collecting this series. All right, let's get the rounds into their new home. First round we're going to put in is this one right here, the Right to Privacy. I knew I was going to enjoy creating this content today because I'm always watching Stacking Perpetrator put his coins in albums, and now I have an album here with some really collectible rounds. And the reason I get to collect these is because he was nice enough to go out of his way to do a trade once he found these rounds at his LCS. So we have this beautiful round freed from its original packaging, the Freedom from Slavery round. And that will fit right there. So the first two rounds in this series I'm able to collect. Thank you very much to Stacking Perpetrator. And there we have it. So they're permanently in the collection now. Very excited for this. All right, my friends, there you have it, collecting silver rounds. Did you recognize any of these rounds in this video as rounds that you also like to stack or collect? You'll have to let me know in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for watching.